Magda has some leftover wallpaper, 73 inches long. She wants to cut it into 8 pieces to use around the photos of her scrapbook. Each piece will have equal length. How long will each piece be? Okay, so what we need to do is solve the problem and see what the remainder is, and then decide what do we do with that remainder, because the remainder has to be dealt with. Okay, the divisor is how many pieces? How many pieces does she want? 8 pieces. Do not write right now, just follow along. Okay? What is 73 inches? The whole paper, right? The wallpaper. I really need a smaller pen. Okay. So we're going to divide to find the quotient and the remainder. And so they use the little bar here. 73 divided by 8. We know that 8 times 9 is how much? 72. So that leaves remainder 1. Okay? The 1 represents that there's 1 inch left over, which can also be divided into 8 equal parts. Because if you're looking at a piece of paper, can you divide a paper into parts? Yes. Yes, you can. So it's saying the remainder 1 out of 8. Okay? So what that means is if I take a ruler let me see if I can zoom it so you can see it. We're looking at inches. Oh yeah, we can kind of see this, huh? Okay. Here's 0 inches, and here's where it shows 1 inch, right here. I'll color it so you can see it. That's 1 inch right there. You can kind of see where I did. And here's 0 inches. It's hard to watch myself do this way because it's delayed. Okay, so on our ruler, we can divide the ruler into smaller parts. Does anybody know what this mark right there? How much of an inch is that? What do you guys think? Half of an inch. Okay, we can also divide it into fourths. So here's half, right? That's half. Here's 1/4. What would this be? No, 3/4. So here's 1/4, 2/4, or a half, 3/4. Do you think that we could divide these into 8s? Yeah. We can, because here's the next lines. You see how they're a little longer than the one right next to it? Those are 8s. So here's 1. You can see the 8s. Inches divide into 8s really easy. Sorry, I'm trying to not get the other ones. But, so we can divide inches into 8s. So every piece will have 9 inches in it, which we've already decided. And then it will have, we have 1 inch left over. And this is that 1 inch. And we're going to divide it into 8 parts, just like I did on my ruler. Divide it into 8 parts. And then I can measure an additional 1/8. Okay? So, when we have a remainder, we show it as the remainder over the divisor. We show it as this over this number. And that's the fraction 1/8. I know. So like over your heads right now. Yeah. So I want you to think about it as if we had a strip of paper and I had you cut it into 8s. I had you fold it into 8s. Maybe we should just do that. Yeah. Let's try. 25 divided by 8. What is 25 divided by 8? Think about it and then tell me when you know. Okay, what's my quotient? 3 is the quotient. Don't say remainder. What is my quotient?
3.
What's my remainder?
1.
Okay? Now, you and 7 friends. How many people is that? 8. And 25 cookies. Big cookies that are easy to split into 8. Or pizza. There you go. You guys have whole pizzas and you're really hungry. So, excuse me, 25 whole pizzas, you're super hungry, you and your 7 friends are going to split them equally. And the pizzas look like this. How many pieces are in each pizza?
8.
Okay, count. No, don't yell out. Count. How many pizzas? 8 pizzas. Okay. So we're back here. So we now know that each of you hungry children, the 8 of you that are sharing the pizzas, you're each going to get how many whole pizzas? 3. But there's 1 pizza left over. Do you throw that to Rover, the dog?
No.
Can you split that pizza up?
Yes.
How can you split it up? It's 1. How can you split that for 8 people? Angeli. And cut it. How many pieces should I cut it into? 1 piece. So the whole pizza goes to 1 person? 8 pieces so that everybody gets a whole piece? Okay, so if I take this 1 whole pizza and I cut it into 8 pieces, can I share that fairly now?
Yes.
Yes. So each person will get 3 whole pizzas. Right? 3 whole pizzas. And how much more? 1/8. Okay? So now all of a sudden we have, even though we had a remainder pizza, we don't need to throw that pizza away. We can split it into 8s, and everybody gets 3 whole ones and an 1/8 of another piece of pizza. So, okay, it is not like fractions, it is fractions. So, when you have a remainder, your remainder is 1 over the divisor, or the remainder over the divisor. Okay? 1/8. What if I had 6 here, and this was 2? Right? Because if this was 26, this would be remainder 2. Can I use the same process?
Yes.
Because I can divide both those pizzas into 8s. There's my other pizza, right? And then if I divide that other pizza in 8s, how many pieces are each of those kids going to get? Think about it first. Here's a whole pizza divided into 8s. Here's a whole pizza divided into 8s. I have to share it with 8 people. 8 people share this. 8 people share this. How many more pieces are each student going to get? Raise your hand when you know. How many pieces will each of the 8 students get additional, Sophia? 2. 1 from here and 1 from here, right? So if this is Avani and this is Bella and this is Caden, who's not in this class, and this is Daniel, and this is Ethan, and this is Frank, who's not here, and this is Ginger, who's not here, and this is Horace, who is here. Okay, so we can do the same thing around here. G, E, F, G, H, right? So do you see how I've assigned a piece to each of those people?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I have two pieces, 2 8s for everybody else. So this is what my answer will look like. 3 whole and 2/8, and we just write that like this. Because people know that the 3 means a whole number and the 2/8 means a fraction. Well, I'm glad we have some light bulbs. All right, now I'm going to make it even more difficult for you. Does anyone? It's the same thing, only we're working with inches instead of pieces of pizza. Write the quotient with the remainder as a fraction. The quotient was 9, right up here. The remainder is 1, and the divisor was 8. 9 1/8 of an inch. If we were doing this with pizza, our answer would have been the quotient being 3, and the remainder, one time it was 1/8 and one time it was 2/8. We would have put that here. It would have looked like this, 3 1/8. And then the second time we did it, it was 3 2/8. What I'm talking about when we did the pizza.
Yeah, how did you think? Because we have 3 whole ones?
We got 3 whole pizzas to yourself, remember?
Whoa.
Okay, so I didn't. So each piece will be how long? Raise your hand if you can tell me now, looking at this, how long will each piece end up being? How long do you think, Rachel? And just 9 inches alone? 9 1/8 inches. Okay? Because we can use that extra 8 because we had an extra inch. Jim made 32 ounces of soup for 5 people. How many ounces will each person get? Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is divide 32 ounces into 4 bowls. Can you guys picture that? We have 32 ounces of soup. Let's pretend we have a little thing that measures ounces. And we're gonna measure those 32 ounces into bowls, 5 of them. How many ounces are we gonna have each person get? Think for a moment. 32 divided by 5. First, what's the quotient? Not the remainder, but just the quotient. 32 divided by 5. What is the quotient? How many times can you get 5 into 32? Okay, what'd you guys get? 6. Thank you for not saying a remainder. Okay, now, what is the remainder?
2.
2. I'm going to put my R up here because my fat pen. Remainder, 2. So I have 5 bowls. Each have 6 ounces. 5 bowls with how much in each bowl? So 6 ounces in each bowl. How many ounces are left over?
2.
Can we split 5 easily?
No.
Can we split those 2 into 5 bowls? No, we can't. However, it's soup. It's liquid. Does it split easy?
Yeah.
Have a cup. Can you pour it into other cups pretty easily?
Yeah.
You can split it into 5 cups easily. You can if you had a spoon or a measuring spoon. Right? So you can split liquid evenly by using some kind of measuring device. Okay? So we were using ounce measuring devices to figure out how many ounces to begin with for our quotient. Now we have 2 ounces left. It's not as easy. Okay? So let's say we have our 5 bowls. These are our 5 bowls, and they already have 6 ounces in them. If we take those 2 ounces that are left, can we split them into 1/5 here, 1/5 here, 1/5 here, 1/5 here, and 1/5 here? So we've split 1 ounce into 5 parts. Just 1 ounce. Can we split 1 ounce into 5 parts?
Yes.
And put it into each of the bowls? Can we do that with the second ounce?
Yes.
1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, and 1/5. So again, we can split into those bowls another ounce and give each of those bowls 1/5 of an ounce. How many ounces extra did each bowl get?
1, 2, 3,
1/5 and 1/5. How much is 1/5 and 1/5?
half.
All right, half. Not, okay. If I have 1 cookie plus another cookie, how many cookies is that?
2.
If I have 1/5 plus 1/5, how many fifths is that? 10. If I have 1 elephant, listen to my comparison. 1 elephant plus 1 elephant is how many elephants?
2.
1/5 plus another fifth is how many fifths?
1 whole. 1 whole.
Okay, you guys, I'm trying to show you how simple it is. Pretend like, okay, if I have 1 skerplunk and I have another skerplunk, how many skerplunks do I have?
2.
If I have 1/5 and I have another fifth, how many fifths do I have?
2.
2. 2 fifths. Not 2 1/5s. 2 fifths. It's, like I said, it's just like saying 1 elephant and another elephant is 2 elephants. 1/5 and another fifth is 2 fifths. 1/5 and another fifth is 2 fifths. Woo, you guys. There's nothing to be confused about. Okay, listen up. So each bowl has an additional 2 fifths. So they each got 6 ounces, and they each got an additional 2 fifths. In order to show that, I just have to take the remainder 2 and put it over the divisor, and isn't that much easier than going through all the drawing? I want you to understand why that works. You can't just memorize that you take the remainder and put it over the divisor. You need to understand that you're taking that remainder and you're dividing it into fifths. Just like we did here. Okay, it's the same thing with the pizza. For some reason, when I said you had 1/8 of a pizza here and 1/8 of a pizza here, you guys get that that's 2/8. But all of a sudden, when I say 1/5 and 1/5, you guys don't see that that's 2 fifths. So I want you guys to try to visualize what is being asked. If there's 6 ounces in each bowl and there's going to be 2 ounces left over, how can I split that? I just split it into fifths, and each bowl is going to get an additional 2/5 ounces. I know we're just on the second problem, and we're gonna go on even more. So go ahead and write in. Each person gets how many ounces? 6 and 2/5 of an ounce. Go ahead and fill in your paper. Ben is a tour guide at a glass blowing studio. He can take no more than 7 people at a time on a tour. If 80 people want to go see the glass blowing demonstration, how many groups of 7 will Ben show around? So first we're going to divide. 80 divided by 7. We know if we work it out, we can figure out that 80 divided by 7 is 11. What is 11 times 7?
77.
So that's 77 people. How many are left over?
3.
3. Can I take my remainder and put it over 7? And then my answer is 11 and 3/7?
Yes.
Some of you are saying no. Why do you think no? Okay, let's go back to the question. The quotient was 11. The remainder is 3. Let's go back to the question. If 80 people want to see the glass blowing I want you guys to listen really good. Okay? If 80 people want to see the glass blowing demonstration, how many groups of 7 people will Ben show around? 11 is the quotient and 3/7 is the answer. Is the remainder. Can that be a correct answer? 11 and 3/7?
Yes.
Okay, what do you guys think? Just say no.
7.
Okay, I have 7 and I have 6. So, one of those is the right answer. I want you to think of the first answer, 6. If I give you 6 breaks, how many students get to go?
30.
30. 6 breaks times 5 kids is 30. What happens to poor Daniel, who's number 31?
Remainder 1. Bye-bye.
Does she get to go potty?
No.
No, because you guys didn't give her a break. So I need to give you how many breaks?
7.
7. I need to give you the 6. The 6 with full 5 people, and one more break for poor Daniel so she can use the bathroom. Okay? So, that's understanding how to interpret remainders. You have to decide, do we just give one more whole break, one more whole tour, one whole card? Listen, we can do the same thing with a car. If there's 31 kids and 5 kids, let's do 4, because most cars can take 4 extra passengers, and we got 1 driver. Right? Think about it. If we have 31 kids, and 4 can go per car on the field trip, how many cars are we going to need? How many cars are we going to need to drive all of those kids on the field trip? I want you to think about it for a minute. Okay, how many cars do we need?
8.
Ooh, we got pretty much equal answer. Yes, we need 8 cars. So you guys get it when it's about you, right? 31 divided by 4. What is my quotient? It's not 8. 31 divided by 4. What's my quotient?
4. 28.
Okay, all right, I want you to think, because you guys just start throwing answers out. No, don't speak. 31 divided by 4, raise your hand when you know what the quotient is. Just the quotient, not the remainder. 31 divided by 4, when you know the quotient. I know you guys know this. Okay, what is it?
8.
It's not 8.
7.
Why is it not 8? And why is it 7? Who can explain it to me in words? Nope. That's not why. Why is it 7 and not 8?
Is 8 is 32 and that's higher and 27 is lower.
It's not 27. It's 28.
28 is
28.
lower and it's...
So, I'm going to move this so it's out of our way. 31 divided by 4 is 7. 7 times 4 is 28. If I do 8 here, 8 times 4 is 32. That's too high. So you can't go that high. So 7 times 4 is 28. What's my remainder? 3. Do they get to go on the field trip? Okay, those of you saying no, you're the one of those 3. Okay, do they get to go on the field trip? Yes. How do we get them to go on a field trip? Who can explain to me in words how those 3 get to go on a field trip? Horace. Huh? 3 alone in what?
In a group?
In another
Car.
car. So how many cars then total?
8.
So they get a car. These are 7 cars here. How many total? 8 cars total. Okay, I'm doing addition upside down. Okay. So sometimes a remainder is something that can be split up. Like you can split up soup, and you can split up pizza, and you can split up paper, but you cannot split up people. You cannot split up a car. You cannot split up a car. You cannot split up bathroom breaks, really, I guess. And you can't split up tours. You can't do a fraction of a tour. I mean, you can, but that means that not everybody gets the full tour, and you want everybody to get the full tour. All right, go ahead and fill in the numbers. I'll erase all this nonsense. Go ahead and fill in the numbers. I want you guys to do this on your own. I will read it to you. Listen. Students are driven to soccer games in vans. Vans could hold more people. Each van holds 9 students. So that doesn't mean the driver, she's got her own seat or he's got his own seat. So we're doing 31 divided by 9. What is 31 divided by 9?
3.
3 with a remainder of 4. Because 3 times 9 is 27. And then we have 27, and 31 minus 27 is 4. So 3 remainder 4. since there are how many left over?
4.
We will need how many vans?
4.
4. We need these 3. We don't need 4 vans because we had 4 left over, right?
No.
We need 4 vans because we had 3 full vans here. Plus we need 1 more van to carry our leftover students. Okay? So we need 4 vans. I know. All you have to do is think about it, huh? If you think about it, really think about it, it totally makes sense. All right. Go ahead and turn to share and show. So you have to decide, is it going to be a fraction, the remainder, or is the remainder going to give you a whole nother whatever you're talking about? A whole nother car, a whole nother tour, a whole nother box to hold the muffins, right? So, Olivia baked 53 mini loaves of banana bread. Yum. To be sliced for snacks at a craft fair. She will place an equal number of loaves in 6 different locations. So think of the fair, the craft fair, and there's 6 different tables that are going to get an equal number of loaves. How many loaves will be at each location? Okay? So there's 53 divided by 6 locations. What will my quotient be when you know? Raise your hand. 53 divided by 6. When you know the quotient, raise your hand. Okay, what is the quotient?
8. 5.
No, the remainder is not part of the quotient. 8 is the quotient. So 8 times 6 was how much?
8 times 6 is 48.
48. You guys should know this. You just told me. All right, if 8 times 6 is 48, how many were left over?
5.
5. So my remainder is 5. So my answer is, the quotient is 8, and the remainder is 5. Now we just have to decide how to use the quotient and remainder to answer the question. Here's the quotient and here's the remainder. Can we divide the loaf into pieces? Yes, it's food. It's a kind of food that would be easy to divide into pieces. The size of our piece, each additional piece, should be what fraction? Think about it. I'm going to make a fraction for my additional pieces. Raise your hand when you know what fraction will represent my additional piece. Okay, what's my fraction going to be? 5 eighths. Remember, it's the remainder over the divisor. So, each table will have how many loaves? 8 whole loaves and 6. I said 8. It's 6. Sorry. I'm not seeing very well. Okay. I'm sorry. 5/6 is the remainder. So 5/6. So 8 loaves and 5/6 of a loaf. Sorry if I confused you. Okay, what if Olivia only wants to put whole loaves at each table? She doesn't want any fractions of loaves. How many loaves are going to be at each table?
1.
Think about it. How many loaves are going to be at each table? If she only wants to put whole loaves, she doesn't want to divide the remaining loaves into fractions. What do you think, Sophia? 8 whole loaves. Will any tables have more than 8? Can she put more than 8 at any table?
No.
We have 5 whole loaves left over. Can any of those tables have extra loaves at them?
Yes.
So if she wants to put an equal amount, but she doesn't want to waste those 5 extra, can she add those to some tables? Yes, she can add, and she only has 6 tables. So one table would actually have 8. The other 5 tables would have how many?
9.
9. They would each get one of those. There's 5 extra loaves. Each one of 5 tables can get an extra loaf. So she would actually have 9. She'd have 5 tables with 9 and 1 table with 8. Okay. All right. Ed carves 22 small wooden animals to sell at the craft fair. He displays them with displays them in rows with 4 animals in a row. How many animals will not be in an equal row? So do the division and decide what number is going to represent how many animals will not be in an equal row. I want you to do this on your own, and then we're going to revisit it in a second. Most of you understood. It's 22 divided by what? 4. And what is the quotient of 22 divided by 4? 5. And what is the remainder? 2. Now, one of these numbers is going to represent how many animals will not be in an equal row. Is it the 5 or the 2?
2.
The 2. This is how many equal rows there will be. Because we have 4 animals in each row, there will be 5 equal rows with 2 animals left over. So those 2 animals will be the animals that are not in an equal row. And can we split toy animals
No.
into fractions?
Yes.
Can we have a fraction of a toy animal?
No.
Will anybody want to buy a fraction of a toy animal?
Yes.
Really? You think?
Yes.
Realistically.
Yeah, so they can sew it together.
Realistically,
They can sew it together.
are you going to go pay for half of a teddy bear?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since you guys have it all figured out, go ahead and continue on your own, and we'll finish it after lunch.
Yay.